Hey everyone, welcome to Illustration Station. For this first episode, I've recreated a 30-year-old drawing of mine that I call the Sinister Spider Rogues. We're going to go back a little bit further than that, back to July 23rd, 1989, when I was 15 years old. That's when I first drew SpiderMan and his rogues gallery of villains in pencil on these notebook pages as a proposed set of action figures. Spider-Man always had the greatest set of bad guys in Marvel Comics, just like Batman does at DC Comics, and 6 of them would team up from time to time in a group called the Sinister Six, but I always felt they left some out. So for these drawings, I included 8. We've got Spider-Man, and then 8 villains: the Scorpion, Electro, the Rhino, the Lizard, Dr. Octopus, the Vulture, Mysterio, and the Green Goblin. 2 months later, I would get some markers and make my first color superhero drawing ever with this Spider-Man. That's actually markers over pencil. I didn't start inking until the following year, and believe it or not, I used a quill pen dipped in a bottle of ink. And using that technique, on October 21st of 1990, I created my first full-page piece of art. This 10 by 14 inch illustration of Spider-Man and 13 of his enemies. This time I added Sandman, Hydro-Man, Hobgoblin, Kraven the Hunter, and Venom. This was the drawing that let me think that I was really on the road to being able to draw comic books professionally. And it's this drawing that I've recreated. But we'll get to that in just a second. Because 2 months later, I created my first 24-page complete comic book that I wrote and drew and inked and actually had printed at a real printing press with plates and photo negatives and all that stuff. Secret Wars 4, starring Spider-Man and Wolverine. Then in July of 1992, exactly 3 years to the month of making those original Spider-Man action figure pencil drawings, I made my first full-color Spider-Man comic book pages. And that brings us to last month, November 15th, 2020, 30 years after that original Spider-Rogues illustration. I've finally recreated it in full color. And I even added one more villain this time for a total of 14 with Stag Ron. And if you don't know why I had to add him, and especially in this color scheme, then you haven't watched my Stag Ron video from last year. I'll put the link below. This piece of art involved a lot more work than you'd imagine, and here's how I made it. I photographed this artist's mannequin figure in lots of poses and placements under a light source. Then in Photoshop, I combined them all, drew over top of them, rearranged them a bit. From there, I worked on every character, special effect, and background until done. And there we have it, the Sinister Spider Rogues. 15 characters in one piece of art. 30 years in the making. Until next time.